All right, Shalom. Um, First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Akakodash. Double honors to our apostles, a great millstone that rule with honor and diligence. So like the rule with honor and with diligence. Honors to you brothers out there presenting truth on the four corners to wake up the elect. Peace be to the elect and their families. Those that change according to the word, calling on the names of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai in time of trouble. We say, peace be unto you. May the Lord have mercy on you in these evil times that we're living in. You know, yeah, this is just a video because we got all this stuff going on in America, and mainly we got the so-called white man trying to paint the narrative that the so-called black people in America are a bunch of violent thugs, a bunch of people that just do harm to everybody. And whenever there's some type of black on black crime or something that happens where black people jump on somebody, the so-called black people, Jake jump on somebody and whoop them, the stories are always plastered all across the media. But whenever so-called white people do shit, and even to us, because they do shit to each other, even to each other. I mean, because they do shit to each other too. But whenever they do stuff, whenever the so-called white man does stuff, whether it's against his own people and especially against us, it's never broadcasted all over the news. This event that happened in Ohio with the German dude slapped the Jake and got whooped. But there's all kinds of shit that goes on that behind the scenes that we don't really see unless like Jake damn near, our people damn near have to just go live on their phone to show you the wickedness. Because if they go to the police, first of all, it's not going to be put on the news if they got attacked by a white boy. If they got attacked by it's not going to be put on the news. So it's at the point where our people are getting attacked by these devils, and then we got to go like live on Instagram to get the information out, because it's never put out there when these hunkies do shit to us. When these devils do stuff to us, it's never put all over the news. But I got this today. It says a sundown town refers to a municipality that historically excludes African Americans and other minorities by enforcing policies often written that restrict their presence after dark. These towns, prevalent in the late 19th to early 20th century, use various tactics, including violence, intimidation, and discriminatory laws to maintain a predominantly white population. While some towns had explicit sundown ordinances, others relied on subtle forms of harassment and fear to discourage minorities from staying after sunset. So, this is still on the books. They still have these towns all throughout America where if Jake, if one of if one of our people, like if, for instance, a truck driver or somebody that's going to visit family and passing through and just stopping to get gas at a certain time, after sunset or after dark, they'll fuck around and get attacked, disappeared, killed, or chased up out of there. And this is still going on to this day, but it's not being pushed all across the media like it's pushed when you see our people do shit. The dude in Cleveland, yeah, he got his ass whooped, but they didn't. They could have seriously broke dude up. And who jumped in to stop the fight? Other Jakes. But whenever something happens to us, no, you don't see other white people jumping in to save us. You know, yeah, but these still exist. This is the Sundown Town map of today. Look at this. Look at this. All across America, and it says possible, probable, or surely, you know. But then it says don't know, unknown. But even the ones that are unknown or unlikely or whatever, they're still on the list. You know why? Because there's been incidents in these other locations where they don't want to make exclusive that have happened against our people, that have been incidents of violence. For any of these dots to even be on this map, that means that there was some sorts of incidents of violence that has happened to our people in each and every last one of these cities, it, whether it be a few times or just reoccurring incidents of violence happening to us in this country. Look at this, and look at this concentrated right here. I'm here in Indiana. I know like 20 miles south of here. I know personally a sundown town that's like right south of here. But I'm finding out it's sundown towns all around the city that I'm in right now. So you got to be careful. Like, you don't know where you at. I'm finding out and I'm talking about sure sundown towns. Like, no, not probable, not possible. I'm talking places where Jake go to where you can get attacked, you can get disappeared, you know, or whatever the case may be, just because of the color of your skin. You know, and whenever there's someone that's being called a violent thug, a criminal, it's us. But these are cities that are known by the U.S. government to have incidents where our people will get attacked just because of the color of their skin. And you don't see the National Guard going into these cities. You don't see the president enacting executive orders to get rid of the white racism against us, committed against us. You don't see that shit, you know. So I'm gonna bring it down to possible. These are all the possible. This is where incidences happen against Jake, where they probably found bodies or found people strung up, raped, or whatever the case may be, repeatedly, multiple times. You know, and they don't know, they don't look into it to see. Well, they don't do a full on investigation to see. Oh yeah, well, we don't know if there's some racist group out here. They don't do full on investigations into their own people. You know, but in these cities right here, all across from the east all the way to the west of America, and this is incidents that are just committed against the so-called black man, not including the Latin tribes, not including the Native American Indians, you know, but just dark skinned people. Even though a lot of those people are mingled in together, this is the possible. This is the possible map. Look at Wisconsin. Look at that. Look at Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. You know, look at this. Now, this is where probable to where they've 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 had remnants. They probably had flyers to join the Ku Klux Klan or whatever put out in these cities to recruit people to neo-Nazi or whatever the case may be, you know, all across America. And it's concentrated right in the Midwest area. Right? It's concentrated right in the heart of America. You know, mainly Indiana and Illinois. And this is surely where they actually know that for sure that if you go into these, people get targeted for going into these cities. And it's still all across America, all across this country. Now you don't see no executive orders where the president feels like, well, we got to send somebody in there to stop these people from doing hate crimes against black people or so-called black people or so-called Hispanics or so-called Native Americans. Do you know how many Native American women just get found raped out in the mountains? You know, get disappeared into sex trafficking rings, and nobody hears about it. Nobody gives a damn either. And this is not including the Hispanics, because the so-called Latin tribes, they get targeted too, man. They're being targeted right now. Why? Because those are the Lord's children too, man. Those are the apple of the Lord's eye too, man. The Lord gonna rise up against this nation for the wickedness that they're doing. But look, concentrated right around the Midwest, and this is supposed to be a Bible Belt area where it's a bunch of Bible believing white folks. And I know it's a lot more in Ohio. Ohio is racist as fuck. You know, but yeah, these are surely, whereas surely if you go there after dark, your life could be in danger. Where there's been incidents of people being found unalived in these cities. So, you know, if I want to go visit, maybe if I want to go visit, you know, the brothers in Arkansas, or if I want to go to Missouri and I got to stop in Illinois somewhere, I might stop in a city where if people see my skin color, I can fuck around and get killed. And that's happening. I want y'all to see this. Look at this. Hold on. I'm going to copy this. Because I know it's not going to be no sound. Hold on. I want to copy this. I want to do something real quick. Baba Kushah, if you will bear with me. Salakia, hold on. Okay, yeah, I want y'all to check this out. I'm gonna play this clip real quick. I gotta play it on both. I got two windows open from both my YouTube pages, so I gotta play it on the same YouTube page as StreamYard is recording on, so your guys can get the audio. Am I still frozen? Hold on, I'm gonna play this real quick. He got a gun in his hand right here. Yeah, see, so this guy, this apparently this truck driver was dropping off a load in the city, and this happened recently. You see, this video is from 6 days ago. This happened recently, but you don't see this all over the fucking news. But a little punk ass German that slapped the Jake in the face and get his ass whooped. You see this? Oh, we're a bunch of violent criminals now. But these devils bulldozed this guy's truck over. They bulldoze his truck over. You see the video, the picture right here. They bulldoze this man's truck over. Hold on. Yeah, see, they don't want to. They don't want this. They don't want. Oh, there it is. You see that? Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know if y'all can see. They doing something where they don't want. They don't want me to show. They don't want this video, this picture to show. You see how they do? As soon as it start playing, they're gonna turn it off. They're gonna probably turn it off. But they bulldoze this guy's truck over. That's a bulldozer, and that's his truck on tilted over. And there was one in front of him too. It was a bulldozer in front of him that stopped him right there. You can see to the right, he got his door open. He got his door open right there. And there's a bulldozer in front of his truck. Can y'all see it? Yeah, there's a bulldozer in front of his truck right there. You probably can see it on the small screen. He got his door open and you can see the bulldozer. And then another guy came around and bulldozed the back of his truck so he couldn't move. And then they jumped out with guns on his Jake. They jumped out with guns on him. Why? Because he's in a sundown town. And but you're not gonna hear this plastered all over the news. You're not gonna hear these devils. You're not gonna hear them saying, "Oh well, we gotta stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop these. Our people from harming the so-called black people. We got to stop our people from doing them harm. You know what? They'll never say, look, we got to call in the National Guard because our people are doing wickedness. You know? Now he said he was in Clyde, North Carolina, which is it's about on I mean, it's about, somewhere in this area. It doesn't name that's a city that's not even named on here. Clyde, North Carolina, which is at the tip over here. Over here in this tip area of North Carolina. But this Jake got he was dropping off a load at a dump. White boy seen him. White boy seen him, jumped into bulldozers, pulled in front of his truck, and then knocked his trailer halfway over. So he couldn't go nowhere. And then when he got out, they had guns on him. And the man is begging for his life. You know? But where's all the arrests? Where's all the videos of saying, well, we're gonna get these violent white thugs and arrest them? Where's the videos of that? You're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see any videos of that. You know why? Because the law only applies against us. It doesn't apply against them. See, they can do shit like this and get away, and it's not going to be talked about in the news. It's not going to be talked about in the media. And then they're not going to say, you know what, every face that we saw in that video is going to be under arrest. They're not going to say that. You're not going to hear you're not going to hear and things like this happen all the time to Jake. And a lot of Israelites don't get out of these situations alive. They just disappear. And then they never either never get found, or a body pops up in the middle of the woods somewhere. And then Jake will say, well, yeah, this guy, he bought the rope, he bought a rope, and he hung himself in the middle of the woods. Like there was like one young guy that it was caught in a sundown town. The dude bought the rope. He looked like, when he bought the rope, he was tossing the rope up and down. Looked like he didn't look like a person that was going to go kill himself. Now they're saying he bought the rope to go hang himself, but the dude, when he walked in the store and walked out of the store, he was smiling. He was tossing, you toss something up in the air, and just going about your day, trying to get shit done. And then he ended up strung up somewhere. I'm gonna put the story in the description box. But these devils, they got to pay for that. This is Ezekiel 35:5 says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sit thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So the Lord is going to turn this situation to where all the violence that this man has done against us is going to be turned on him. And blood's going to pursue him. People are going to get pushed to the wall, and eventually there's going to be an overflow of violence in this country. It says, thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut them off from it him that passeth out and him that returneth. Because eventually the end of this place, the Lord is going to destroy this place with fire. Okay? It says, and I will fill his mountains with his slain men, and thy hills, and in thy valleys, and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolation, and thy cities shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. So the Lord's going to destroy this place with fire. And all these skyscrapers and buildings you see going to be cast down, because of the violence of the land. Okay? It says, because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine. Talking about Israel, the northern and southern kingdom. Oh, these two, they belong to me. I can do whatever I want to them. If I want to kill them, I can do it. Okay? If I want to harm them, I can do it. And if I don't want to protect them, I don't have to. If my people do something to them, it's cool. But if they do something to each other, hey, that's two birds with one stone. We're gonna get the person that did something to the person, or we're gonna and the person that was done something to, or is dead or whatever. Hey, that's two birds with one stone. Now we got two of you niggas. The man in Ohio, the German dude in Ohio, that got his ass whooped. They arrested every last Jake in that video. That means that they launched an investigation, and yeah, they not gonna show it. These devils mad. They not gonna show it. They launched an investigation. No, they launched a full-on investigation, and they looked at all the pictures and all the faces of the people, and went after them and arrested them. I wonder if they're gonna do the same. You think they're gonna do the same for these guys? These dudes that's got guns drawn on this Jake for just doing his job? I doubt it. Hey, shalom to all you Akim on the comment boards. I highly doubt it. Ezekiel 25:12. Thus saith the Lord, because that Edom have dwelt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. And that Esau was like, after my father dies, I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna kill Jacob, my brother Jacob, and that spirit has been on him ever since then. To perpetually cast us down and put us in bad situations and kill us. You know, he said, verse 25, it said, therefore said the Lord power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make a desolation from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. You know, and that pretty much, as they've never got truly gotten paid for all the evil that they've done from the beginning of the time of their rise. They haven't got. That's why the scriptures say he's a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. So even from the wickedness of old time that they did, they're gonna have to pay for that. Up until now, the wickedness that they're still committing in this day. And Teman and Dedan, those were cities in Edom. I got the map right here. Teman or Basra, those are cities that were in Edom, Dedan, and this was a major trade route. So the Lord is going to cut off the capital, it's like the Lord is going to cut off the rulers and the people that they do business with. They are going to cut them off, are going to come against them. The Lord is going to break all that system up, just like He did in old time. This is Amos 1:9. Thus saith the Lord power, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant. This I don't know how the scripture got in there, but that's a good scripture. Tyrus had made a covenant with our people in First Kings, the 5th chapter. You know, First Kings, the 5th chapter, they said, oh, we're gonna make a covenant with you, we're gonna help. You know, our people went to them and said, look, hey, y'all good at, you know, hewing wood and making stuff and working with your hands. So look, we want to make a covenant with you. If you help us, you know, to, you know, if you help us to build, you know, hew wood and to build a temple, we'll give you our services. And what happened? You know, they disannulled it, you know. Which, you know, I don't know how this, I must have been mixing up 2 lessons into one, but still, you know. And then what did they do? They sold us to the Edomites. You know, they disannulled the covenant that they had with us, and they sold us into the Edomites. You know, but I'm gonna go over Obadiah 1:10. It says, for thy violence, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, hold on, Salakia. It says, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that strangers carried away captives his forces, foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. It said, but thou should have not looked upon the day of thy brother in the day that they had became a stranger, neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Israel. How did they rejoice over us? They would hang us. So they would have these gatherings in town where they would hang us, and they would sit around and take pictures with us hanging in trees and rejoice over our destruction, man. It says, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. It says, thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. The Archetypus shows you, when they took our people down, they went into the temples and took the goodly things of the Lord. It says, neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape, neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. But this cycle of wickedness, hey, that's the same thing they did to this man that was delivering this load on his truck. Hey, they cut him off and was prepared to do him harm, man. And Jake is watchful. This man probably knew, oh shit, I don't know what it's like when we go into a city and we see it's some, oh, I don't know what kind of white people is these. It's like we got a sixth sense with that shit. It's like, oh shit, let me hurry up and get the fuck out of here. And the Jake was probably looked like he had dropped his load already and was on his way leaving, and they ambushed him. You know, and and he luckily got out of there with his life because evidently they seen him recording on live on his phone, and they was like, well, if we shoot him, they got our faces, you know. But still, they should have did it. They should have, they should be launching an investigation and going after these people, shouldn't they? Shouldn't these people be under the same type of investigation as us? Oh, you can just bulldoze a man's truck, you know, and trailer over and nothing fucking happens. It's not plastered all in the news. Look, we're investigating, you know, however many devils bulldoze this innocent black man's truck over, this working man's truck over to intimidate him with guns. So we're going to arrest every face that we see on that. You don't see that kind of action with them. They're not in trouble as other men. You know? Yeah, that's beautiful scripture right there. But they trouble us continually. And they they try to do harm to us continually. And that hatred has it's like it should be as he wiped the looking glass. You should know his rust is not wiped away. He's still the same devil he was back when he was pulling up on us on trees by our necks. And he about to really reveal himself as his kingdom begins to further plummet lower and lower. He about to really show more of his evil. He about to really show you why we call this man the devil. He gonna show each and last every one of you Jakes why we call him the devil. Psalms 137. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, meaning erase it. Like kill all these niggas, Lord, so we can be standing there steed. It says, even to the foundation thereof, even from the beginning, we're gonna try to murder all these niggas. It says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. We're gonna be happy to put upon them the same violence that they have did unto us and our ancestors up until this day. Because eventually Jake just gonna fucking pop off. Eventually Jake is gonna snap. It's gonna, the Lord is gonna rouse, gonna put a spirit on our people to where we're not gonna give a damn about living and dying no more. The Lord's gonna put a spirit on Jake to where Jake is just gonna start fucking these devils up on sight. But they gotta show their horns first, and they gonna show their horns. And all you Jakes that's second guessing, is this the devil? I don't know. That's kind of harsh to be calling it. You know, I don't think you should do that. There's no such thing as oppression and all that conservative bullshit is gonna be out the window when these crackers pull your fucking daughter, out of the house and rape her on the front line, man. Why they cutting your ears and eyes out? Hey, you remember these the same devils that used to cut our rods off and pickle them in jars and set them up on the cabinet or set them up in this little freak room, you know? Hey, these are the same devils that used to take the so-called black woman and put a razor under her pregnant stomach and cut and rip the baby out and stomp the baby and let her bleed out. Hey, these devils, their whole medical field was created by by practicing on living jakes. They're Jake slaves. Oh, we're gonna do a heart transplant. One of you gotta die. We're gonna try to take his heart and put it in your chest, and both of y'all might not live. And they'll do it. There's stories about them doing learning how to do hysterectomies on the black women They- with no anesthesia. They would have to have other black women hold their sister down while this devil's just cutting away at our fucking privies. You know, I got the book. It's called Medical Apartheid. It's a book. I forget the author's name. I don't have the book with me, but the book is called Medical Apartheid. It's a red and black cover, and like a lot of the gruesome shit that happened to us in slavery is in that book, man. Even though you need a thesaurus to read it, because a woman, you could tell, when a woman is got a lot of vocabulary or a vast vocabulary, she gonna use every goddamn word. Like she don't know how to keep nothing plain, but it's still a good book. You know, you want to get mad, get that book. He said, "O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed? Happy shall he be that reward thee as thou served us. Happy thou shall he be a taken and dasheth thy little ones against the stones." Hey, you know, and some of those stories they said that they would rip the baby out the black woman's stomach, and the baby would start making sounds, and they would laugh. The baby would start making sounds like like crying sounds, and they would laugh and stomp the baby and smash it to the ground. These are the people that we're dealing with. Habakkuk 2 and 12. Woe to them that build a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. It said, Behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for vanity. And that's what's happening. Our people, we trying to work, we trying to provide a decent living for our families, and it's just all this shit stacked against us. All the systematic oppression that's stacked against us is stopping us from from advancing, because they know that if we had a shot to advance that we would do it, but they have all these systems in play to keep us low as they want to see us. They flood with Jake stay with drugs. You starve them out of labor. You put all the low paying jobs surrounded with all the low paying grueling labor jobs. Man, these a lot of these warehouses are modern day slavery, man. These fucking warehouses, man. You know, got Jake doing picking where they, stacking all these boxes together and trying to, man, like a lot of this shit is fucking wickedness, man. You know, working their ass off to make this fucking devil rich for some big dude, some dude that owns a company somewhere in Maui at his beach house, at his summer house, while Jake in there slaving for pennies, man. You got Jake counting a check before they even get paid, saying, "Okay, I gotta pay this, I gotta pay that." Jake don't even count the outcome of what they got left. All we count is what we gotta fucking pay. It says, "For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea," and it's being filled. You know, because the prophets are out there. It says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. You know, and you take us over here, you beat Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai out of us, and you beat Jesus into us, you know, and then you laugh because now we're not calling on the name of the Lord. Now we're not getting answers. And we're not calling now, our people are not calling on the true name of the Lord, you know, because the scriptures say, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Hey, it said, if we all called upon the name of the Lord with one consent, the Lord will return. So until you beat the true name of the Lord out of us and beat Jesus into us, got our people gone off that mess to keep up division. You got Yeshua, you beat you know, you got all kind of names, misnames out here. Yeshua and Yeshaya, or whatever, you know, Jesus, you know, you know, all these other names, all these other religions to keep us from coming back to our power. Because if we was to all come together and call on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, the Lord would return. But people not gonna do that because of these damn devils, you know. And on top of that, you put us all in the news like we're the animals, and you motherfuckers are the most violent people. All of the crime statistics name you as the top villain. Now the prisons name us as as you know, as the most frequenters. But when you look at the crime statistics, the white people are doing the majority of the crime. It says, woe unto him that give his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and that makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. You know? So, hey, the eventually, there's the cup that we're drinking, the cup that this man forced upon us, we're gonna force back on him, and he's gonna receive that hardcore bitter slavery for 1,000 years. He gonna receive it. He gonna sit there and he gonna fucking drink it. You gonna sip it slow. We're gonna sip it for 1,000 years. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled. There's no towns in America where white people can go to and feel like their life can be in danger. There's no sundown towns where that's got all black people attacking white people for being white in America. Now, if you fuck with us, a lot of us will fuck you up. But you got people that's going into cities that ain't even messing with nobody, you know, working, trying to make a decent living for their families, and then they trying to hurry up and get the fuck, because our people ain't stupid. We know a fucking devil when we see one. You know, we know you devils, man. We look around and we could tell, oh, you know what, I better get the fuck out of here. So Jake trying to get out of there, and what happened? They blocked him in. Why? Like the man is leaving. Why you got to block him in? Oh, you stole a cell phone. You don't even know this man. There's a cell phone missing. You jumping out with guns because a cell phone is missing? You know? It says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. It says, when thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Because the Lord is going to bring this place down to such low estate to where you ain't going to have the means to deal treacherously. And the Lord's going to raise up men with power to subdue you. Hey, you're going to look at Jake going to be on you like fucking white on rice, man. Jake going to be, man, like the Lord's going to cut Jake loose. Yeah, these devils they're going to cut loose on Jake. Yeah, they're going to get one. But you know what? Eventually, our people going to get fed up. Our people going to get fucking fed up. And they're going to cut loose on these devils, man. You know? So, hey, that's pretty much it. You know, that's pretty much it. You know, with that, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakodash, double honor to our apostles. Honor to you brothers out there pushing the word. Hopefully, this was an edifying lesson to you brothers and sisters out there listening and learning. You know, may the Spirit continue to be with you and keep you as well. And shalom.